Hello and welcome back to our Guilty Gear Strive Weekly over here at the Gaming Stadium. If you've been tuned in so far, thank you very much. If you're just tuning in, get ready for a lot of great Guilty Gear action. We're primarily based in the Pacific Northwest, but we've seen a lot of names in bracket from all over North America. It's really been a joy to see. We hit our cap. It's great stuff all around. But before we get the next matchup for you, we just gotta talk about some sponsors.
Oh, for sure.
Like, this couldn't have been done. It's a free tournament, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen for all of you. So I want to tell you about Monster Cat. If you haven't heard about Monster Cat Gold, you should. It's a great service for $5 a month where you can download and stream thousands of songs from top electronic producers. Are you tired of getting your stream VODs rated by the Twitch cops, muted? Well, go check out Monster Cat. tgs.gg/monstercat for more info. You won't regret it.
Yeah, no, great service. $5, $60 on the year, and you get access to a lot of great songs. I remember listening to Pegboard Nerds a lot when I was in high school. That was one of my go-to Monster Cat producers. Or I guess artists, really. But hey, other local stuff. Oh, well, we'll talk about them later, actually. We're going to be having an Axel jump up on screen DPS coming through. Kind of the opposite of what Axel does. More like, damage per minute. A little bit of a slower cut down character on the overall scale of things when it comes to Guilty Gear. But, I mean, hey, they're here. They're ready to try and get things done up against Ina.
Yeah, absolutely. Ino, a little bit less complicated than she has been in earlier entries in the series, but still such a terror. The core of her game plan is still intact, which is essentially knock you down, throw out antidepressant scale, and go for the high-low or the throw. That survives here. She's a little bit on the lower side damage-wise compared to the rest of the cast, but once she got her setups looping, it doesn't really matter. And then on the opposite end of that spectrum, you got Axel, which is, of course, the quote-unquote Dulcim of the game. And this game just has fantastic control of the screen. You're seeing it, starting it off here, DPS, looking clean.
And this is a matchup that was absolute hell in previous games. Ino would try and dash in, you wouldn't be able to FD grounded normals, but that's not the case anymore. You can still, or you can do that now, get the instant blocks going, and what a throw! Oh my goodness, tasty. Looking absolutely delicious with the mix in the corner, but it's not going to matter for too much longer. As Axel will push this back to mid-screen, DPS doing exactly how they need to. Good burst there from Tasty, kind of has quarter control just for the moment. Pension spent, PRC gets the dive in, and that should seal that double overhead so often coming out from Ino players. And it'll come out there for Tasty and lock a round up.
Yeah, great conversion there to close out the round. You can see Axel has really good control of the screen, but it is never not stressful for Axel, because, one hit in the corner can spell absolute doom.
And you don't want to have to go... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, in this game, it is a little bit less scary just because the wall break will eventually happen and you will get back to neutral.
Right.
But, I'm just thinking of earlier games where you could just get in the corner and never leave. But DPS showing great adaptation here. Wanting to keep him out. Oh, there's another PRC for PRC, the trade, but here comes a YRC. All the defensive RCs on deck for DPS there, and he's going to take the round.
Yeah, hey, we were saying it earlier, spend meter to negate your opponent's meter. The whole reason they spent it was to get their turn, so, keep your turn.
In a lot of situations... Unless you desperately need the meter for a super for the damage or something, in a lot of situations it's just absolutely the best choice to mess up the plan of your opponent, right?
Exactly. It's I don't exactly how it's like playing a mirror matchup in a card game, see one, play one.
Yeah. Okay. Tasty on the back foot now, but and DPS is going to take that first game.
Yeah, solid stuff there from DPS. They were able to keep out Tasty pretty effectively in the first round. They were able to skirt by in the third round to be able to find their round. It's now on to Tasty. Can they just not get blown up too heavily on their way in? That was what really locked them out, is that once they got in, they hardly had any life left to give. I like the early bursts coming out from Axels, just to make sure that they can keep the distance for as long as possible.
Yeah, Tasty going in now.
Big wall break, big damage, big knockdown. This could be an absolutely massive round win. They're still going to have burst coming into the next round. If
Yeah, the
Tasty
empty
gets
dash
an
throw
early hit.
here. It's important as the player to just present all the options, right? If you always go high or you always go low, the opponent doesn't really have to think as much, but, establishing that threat is really important, and Tasty is riding that momentum here.
Another knockdown, still no burst. Should have it by the time Eno gets a touch. Great throw. Can't burst that. Okay. Will have to burst there. Eno still at massive life. Tasty is playing this matchup brilliantly, but now it's DPS's turn to try and keep him to the outside. Not gonna happen. Never mind.
Great 6P there from Tasty. It's gonna take the game, 1-1. I like this. It's sort of evenly matched right off the bat. You can see what both players are going for. It looks real stressful from both sides, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. Neither character wants to be a part of this matchup in this game. Again, before, Axel would kind of get away with just running their game plan, and Eno would have to cry on the other side of the screen. But now Eno has an actual fighting chance in this matchup, and it can be really brutal for Axel. But this looks like the days of yore.
Yeah, DPS has just had all the right callouts this round, Yeah, and Eno's generally going to approach from the air or go for the stroke the big tree, and he's called out the right option every time, except for right now. Speak of the devil, commentator's curse.
That was it. Okay. Still going to get it done. DPS puts the round on the board. DPS will have burst. Tasty will be close enough to it. It's all about forcing out that burst for Tasty and then just being able to tap down some pressure. Big counter hit. Nothing gained off of it, but just keeping that distance, and oh, that's tragic. Stuck in the corner, full screen to work with. Burst is there. What a bait. Sit him down. Perfect. DPS
yeah, that was...
that game.
That's a perfect even. DPS, that was the first time he went in after establishing a knockdown situation and immediately knew that Tasty was going to burst. That was just great presence of mind from him to recognize the panic in his opponent.
And you have to know that panic's going to come if you've never approached them. It's a scary situation. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to find out what your mix is. And then you don't, because the mix was I block.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
and oh my god,
mix.
where did Tasty's life go? I looked away for a second.
It has just been an absolute full screen assault. Tasty keeps getting tapped out by these long range normals, and that'll seal it. No!
Yeah.
Tried to bait the burst. I don't think anyone's going to go for the hero burst in the Axel matchup, let alone the Axel Eno matchup. Oh,
yeah, really strong thing for Axel is that a lot of his stuff is just naturally burst safe. Right? And Tasty...
He's so tragic.
You burst and hit the chain, hit the sickles. That'd be hilarious. Although it would be very sad for Axel players.
Daisuke's newest vision.
Yeah.
Daisuke.
Oh, get the command throw. Spends the meter here. Baits the burst again. Just beautiful stuff. Another perfect. And DPS is going to take that match 3-1.
They're the first person to advance into top 8. At least on the winner's side, I'm pretty sure losers is, way too far away. So they're just the first person to advance into top 8. They'll be fighting the winner of Coach Steve, and Coach Steve will be fighting the winner of Huff Nitro. So one of those 3 players will take on DPS, but my goodness. That was, we just have good Axels come into these tournaments, don't we?